Remember Friday nights? Walking into Blockbuster, grabbing a movie, arguing over what to watch, and promising yourself you'd return it on time this time. You probably didn't. Then came the late fee. It was annoying, but somehow it was just part of the ritual. Fast forward a decade, every one of those stores had disappeared. Most people will tell you Netflix killed Blockbuster, but that's not what happened. The truth is much stranger. Blockbuster didn't lose because it failed to see the future. It lost because, when the future arrived, it chose to fight itself instead. At its peak, Blockbuster wasn't just successful, it was untouchable. More than 9,000 stores, around 60,000 employees, over $6 billion in annual revenue. If you wanted to rent a movie, chances are you went to Blockbuster. It wasn't just a business, it was part of growing up. New releases lined the front wall. Staff recommendation stickers told you which films were worth taking a chance on. Parents wandered one aisle while kids disappeared into the games section, and somehow everyone ended up leaving with snacks they never intended to buy. It felt permanent, like it would always be there. But underneath the nostalgia was a business model that made an extraordinary amount of money. Not from rentals. From forgetting, late fees became one of Blockbuster's biggest sources of income. Estimates suggest they generated roughly $800 million every year. Think about that. One of the biggest entertainment companies in America was making a fortune because people forgot to rewind, or simply forgot to come back. It was frustrating for customers. But for shareholders, it was brilliant, until the internet showed up. In the year 2000, Netflix was tiny, a small DVD by mail company that almost nobody had heard of. It was losing money. Its co-founder, Reed Hastings, had an idea. Sell the company to Blockbuster for $50 million. That's it. $50 million. Today that sounds almost unbelievable. At the meeting, Blockbuster executives reportedly laughed. They didn't just reject the offer, they dismissed the entire idea. Why would anyone wait for DVDs to arrive in the post when they could simply drive to Blockbuster? It's one of those business stories that sounds almost too perfect. Except, it's also a little misleading, because this wasn't actually the moment Blockbuster sealed its fate. The real story happened a few years later. In 2004, CEO John Antioco realized the world was changing. Customers wanted convenience, subscriptions, no late fees. So he did something bold. He launched Blockbuster online. He invested heavily. He even eliminated late fees altogether. That was a huge gamble. Remember, late fees had been worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Giving them up wasn't just changing policy. It was changing the entire business. And surprisingly, it started working. Customers signed up. Growth looked promising. For a moment, it seemed like Blockbuster might actually pull it off. Then another player entered the story. Not Netflix, an investor. Carl Icahn. Icahn believed the online strategy was too expensive, too risky, too focused on the future instead of short-term profits. A boardroom battle followed, budgets were slashed, support disappeared. Eventually, John Antioco was forced out. Just as Blockbuster had finally started moving in the right direction, it hit the brakes. Hard. In 2007, Jim Keyes became CEO. His background wasn't in streaming, it was in running a convenience store chain. Around the same time, Netflix was growing. Redbox kiosks were appearing outside supermarkets. Movie rentals were becoming cheaper, easier, faster. When asked about the competition, Keyes reportedly argued that neither Netflix nor Redbox posed the kind of threat many believed. History wasn't particularly kind to that prediction. By then, though, the damage had already been done. Blockbuster was carrying enormous debt from years of expansion. Even if every strategic decision had suddenly become perfect, recovering would have been incredibly difficult. The company was trying to reinvent itself, while dragging a financial anchor behind it. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy within months. Stores began disappearing. The blue signs came down, shelves emptied, employees locked the doors for the final time. The following year, Dish Network bought the Blockbuster brand, but only the name survived. The business everyone remembered was gone. almost overnight. Today, one Blockbuster still stands. In Bend, Oregon, it's part museum, part tourist attraction, part reminder. People often say Blockbuster failed because technology changed. That's only half the story. Technology gave Blockbuster every opportunity to change with it. The company even started doing exactly that. But internal politics, short-term thinking, and a refusal to commit stopped that transformation before it had a chance. Netflix didn't destroy Blockbuster. Blockbuster destroyed Blockbuster. And that's what makes this story so fascinating, because sometimes the biggest threat to a company isn't its competitors, it's the decisions made inside its own boardroom. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you're subscribed, because next time, we're looking at another giant that saw the future coming and somehow still managed to miss it completely. I'll see you then.